Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Tony Garner. Um, it has been a whole month since I updated you guys on his raised bed, so uh, this is gonna be a process until that 1 month. But either way, today's August 13th for me, and you can see some of the sorghum is growing really well. But I want to do something different on these raised beds because right now it's not looking too good anyway. Even though the sorghum is growing pretty well, the initial reason why I put the sorghum is so I can grow a cover crop. But since we're getting into fall and winter season, I thought it'd be a good idea right now to plant a fall cover crop, so that can grow all through fall and hopefully through winter, and hopefully the soil will be a lot better in the spring and summer months of next year. But until then, I want to show you how my soil looks like currently. All right, guys, so I'm giving you guys a closer look on how my soil looks like. This is how it looks like after it's all wet, and technically it doesn't look too bad when it's wet, but it's not what I would hope it would look like. If you know about soil, you want like a black cottage cheese. That's what I've heard on the internet on how you want it to look like, but clearly that's not how my soil looks like. So for for the rest of this video, uh, all this sorghum I'm gonna cut down, and all the wood chip particle mulch I'm gonna take off for a little bit, and I'm gonna add a compost top dress. And I'll show you how I plan on making that top dress right now. Alright guys, so before I show you how I make that top dress, I want to show you how this raised bed looks like after I took most of the mulch out. Um, got like 4 buckets. I mean, 2 are pretty small, but still. These are peppers I was trying to grow earlier in the season. They haven't given me a harvest yet. So hopefully with the top dress, it will give these plants more food that they need to hopefully produce the rest of the food or produce at least a harvest. When I was taking the mulch out, I noticed that I saw one worm in this raised bed, so that's giving me hope that there is actually life in this soil. But I have noticed there is some dry spots, so I have to do a better job of watering. But other than that, there is some life in here because I saw one worm, a bunch of roly and other bug life. But that worm is really convincing to me that what I'm doing so far is working. All right, now let me show you that top dress I'm going to make. All right, YouTube, so I'm going to use 1 cubic foot of compost. This is compost that I didn't make, so I bought this. Um, this is the grow mulch that I use as my compost. You can see it's very woody and stuff, so I can use this as a top dress and a mulch at the same time. But I'm mostly using this as a compost. As you see with that raised bed, I have a mulch on it. I have mulch already that I can put back. So this is just gonna be my compost component. If you remember that raised bed, it has like zero organic matter. Uh, like I said, it looks nice when it's wet, but once it's dry, uh, it's pretty bad. But anyway, I don't want to just add compost in there, and because this is my inexpensive raised bed, and this cost me about $10, $8. Right now it's $8, but at the time when I bought it, it was $10. I'm gonna add some minerals. So this is 1 cubic foot. I'm gonna add 4 cups of rock dust. Okay, so 4 cups of rock dust for every 1 cubic foot of soil or compost in this case. Let's say you're making a soilless compost. I mean, soilless seedling mixer soil. You want to add minerals so your plants have all the nutrients they can get besides just from the compost that it might be missing that your rock dust can replace. I'm going to break up these clods and mix it together. Okay, so here's what it looks like so far. Um, because I like the idea of biochar, I'm gonna add just over 10% of biochar into this mix. If you're wondering what 10% is for 7.5 gallons, it's 0.75 gallons of biochar. But because it's easier for me to measure 1 gallon, I'm just gonna add a whole gallon of biochar into here. Um, like I said, this is my inexpensive raised bed, so I'm only gonna be using 10% biochar for the whole raised bed compared with all this compost. And it's not charged biochar. If I could change what I did differently, I would have bought charged biochar instead of uncharged. But I think the uncharged biochar should work just fine. It might set back my ceilings a little bit. Not my ceilings, my cover crop. Uh, okay, I'll show you that when I do that, and after I'm done mixing all this up. But hopefully it won't be too bad. But we'll see. Okay, so in here I have 1 gallon of raw biochar. Again, the thing I would do different is buy pre-charged biochar, spend that extra little money on charged biochar. But hopefully, because we're only doing 10%, or just little over 10%, it won't be too bad. But again, we'll see. All right, guys. So here's how it looks like after adding the 10% or just over 10% biochar. You can't even tell that I added biochar. That's how little it is compared to all this compost and rock dust. And because the rock dust is basically a powder form, especially when you break it apart after it clumping up on me, um, it'll be easier for my plants to take that in instead of using my actual native soil. And hopefully, as the compost breaks down, also it'll help feed the plants. And biochar adding here because it'll add a lot of microbes or a lot of living area for my microbes, and it carries tons of water. So hopefully next year, uh, as it gets hot during the summer months, I won't have to water as much as I did this year. Even though I didn't do that good of a job anyway, hopefully this biochar will help get the water that I need to add in the first place. Okay, so I'm gonna spend a little bit of time breaking up more of this rock dust, and then I'm gonna take you back to the raised bed and backfill the raised bed. All right, YouTube. So we're back to my raised bed. You can see these peppers. I'm gonna prioritize these peppers first for the top dress, especially this one because it looks really dehydrated. So after I put the top dress on these peppers, I'm gonna water it in, and then I'm gonna do the top dress first. I'm gonna put the cover crop seed, put the mulch on, and then water it all in. All right, let me put the top dress. All right, guys. So this pepper all top dressed. Right now it doesn't look like much, but trust me, you don't need a lot anyway. Plus, still have a whole bunch of top dress left to add to the rest of the raised bed, and even more over here on this side. But as for right now, I think that's good enough. Just hopefully enough for it to give me an actual harvest before the season ends. Um, uh, right now is August, like I said earlier, so hopefully we still have enough time to get a harvest. Because our first actual freeze comes around November, so I think we should have more than enough time. But again, I can never tell by the weather, so we'll see. I'll keep us updated. But yeah, right now I think I'm gonna put the cover crop in, and then add more top dress, and then put the mulch back on. All right, YouTube. So I got a 12 seed cover crop in here, a 12 seed clover cover crop in here, in this little bag. All I did was add some winter rye seeds because I like the idea of winter rye because they can survive my winter. I don't know if the clover could, but we'll see. There's also legumes in here and some vining crops in here. Basically, this has almost everything you need for a thriving ecosystem for your garden. So hopefully this will work well for me this year. We'll see. I'll keep you guys updated, but I'm gonna just spread this out in this raised bed right now. Then put more top dress, and then water it in, and call it a day. Probably rick it in also. I have so much seed in my hand that I don't know how much I have. Because the clover I think is small seed, so it's hard for me to gauge how much I have in my hand. and you might see me put my foot on the raised bed. I'm not too worried about compacting a little bit since it's already alright YouTube. So I don't know if that last clip actually recorded, and that's how I know I've been outside for way too long, because now my phone's starting to overheat. It's not even 10 o'clock yet, so it's crazy how hot it's getting so fast, especially in early morning. But right now I just finished top dressing this raised bed. I put a cover crop in. Hopefully it'll start growing soon, but I'll keep you guys updated on that. After I'm done watering this in, I'm gonna maybe add mulch into this. Probably add a light mulch instead of a heavy mulch, just so the seeds have a better chance of coming up. But yeah, I'm gonna do deep watering in this raised bed, especially over there my peppers, because some of the peppers look like they haven't got any water, even though I watered like maybe an hour or two ago. But those peppers look like they didn't get any water, so I'm gonna do deep watering on those peppers. And yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on this raised bed in the coming month.